Today I'm at Anna Maria Island. We are just south of the Tampa Bay area. Anna Maria Island is a island that sits out on the Gulf of Mexico. So you've got Gulf frontage on one end, on the western side, and on the eastern side you've got the bay frontage, which is behind me right now. And my family's been coming here for 30 plus years, and it's really been a neat experience, somewhat melancholic sometimes, to watch this old original coastal fishing oriented town here in Florida evolve as the real estate values have really kind of directed the economics of the community. When we first came here, there used to be a bunch of these older turn of the century bungalows and cottages. You can see behind me here, this is a place we've been staying for years, and it's now one of the few remaining original properties here on the island, because as coastal properties and real estate markets evolve, which is a natural course of events, whether we like it or not, things change. And Anna Maria Island used to be a sleepy little fishing village. There's across the bay, there's Cortez, you've got Holmes Beach, and then you have Bradenton Beach are some of the municipalities that are on this island here. And they all used to be very sleepy. A lot of this was developed, over 100 years ago, so it has a certain charm to it. And as it has changed, it's been hard to watch, but it's how real estate works. And I think there's some important lessons here for somebody that's considering purchasing something here in the Florida market, especially on the coast. And as things have changed, you have just normal economics, supply and demand. People start to enjoy a place. It gets busier, the businesses thrive, becomes more of a vacation-oriented type of market, and that's exactly what's happened here on Anna Maria. And then you couple that with events like hurricanes, and this place got walloped 2 years ago by two hurricanes that were 2 weeks apart, and it accelerates that change. And here in Anna Maria, I guess it was in 2024, Hurricane Helene came through, and it was a major flooding event for Anna Maria Island. And a lot of these properties flooded. They're all in an AE flood zone for the most part, and a lot of them were not buildable, were not salvageable, and a lot of them, even they could have been salvageable, the economics drove the owners of those properties to demo them. And you've seen a lot of new construction. Some of that was already taking place before the hurricanes, but again, the hurricanes kind of accelerated it. And so you've got, where you had these little bungalow type buildings that kind of were all up and down the island. They've started to make way for places like this one next door, where somebody will come in and, the land value really kind of is what drives the economics. And the older properties will get scraped, demoed, and then new properties will be built. They're now really being built to maximize the financial return from a vacation rental perspective. And again, it's progress, but it's interesting because I know when I was probably back in early 2000s, 2001, 2002, there was a property that I loved. It was an old beat up 2-story house. I think it was probably built in the 20s or 30s. And it hit the market and it was $400,000. I was much younger. That seemed like a crazy amount of money. And now $400,000 doesn't even get you an old bungalow that's landlocked off the water over here. It gets you there's one on the market right now for I think $450,000. It's about 800 square feet. And it needs a ton of work, and that's kind of your entry level in this market over here. The property next door here that sold a couple years ago, we used to rent a duplex over there as well, and that sold for I think 2.2 million just for the dirt, and then they built those two large homes on it. So it's just kind of how things work, but it's been really interesting to watch it evolve over my lifetime. There's so much that changes in terms of the economics. So This property I was talking about that's on the market right now across the bay over in Cortez, they're asking mid-4s. I was kind of crunching some numbers on it, and it would make a great little Airbnb. You could draw some rental income off of it, but the insurance implications right now, which is very real here in Florida, that property is going to cost about $8,000 a year for insurance on an 800 some odd square foot building that was built in the 40s, wood frame, and it's I'll just say it's got a lot of charm. If you wanted to tune it up, you could do so, but you're still going to be paying a very high insurance premium because it is in an AE flood zone, and it's got an older roof, it's got older wiring, that kind of stuff. So you can kind of start to see where the numbers really kind of start to drive some of the decisions that get made on this real estate over here. And it's, again, as a lifelong Floridian, someone that's got a lot of memories over here, it's kind of hard for me to watch, but it's just how it works. And if you are interested in getting into a market like this, whether it's buying one of these older properties, you're going to be paying more money than what the actual structure is worth. You're just paying for the dirt. This place that we rent out, it's got 3 properties on it, and I know the family has held this for many years because they love it. It's kind of a you know, they've got an attachment to the property. But we all know at some point, these 3 little houses that are on this piece of property here, they're going to get scraped, and somebody's going to probably put in, you know, typically a 3-story building with a roof deck so people can look out over the water and maximize rental income. And it's just how things evolve. So this is Anna Maria Island. I'm a huge fan of it. Cortez fishing village across the bay it still has some of the charm and the character, but we're going to see that change over the next few years. And you know, that used to feel a little bit rough over there years ago when we came over here, and that's now starting to change as well. And it's just kind of paints a pretty interesting story as to how coastal markets evolve. At the end of the day, you know, you've got an amazing setting over here. The sunsets, the sunrises, the water clarity, the fishing. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. That part's never going to change. And but we will watch this market kind of continue to evolve, and you know, that's just the way it goes. So anyway, wanted to share it with you real quick. One of my favorite spots. I'm Mike Darenthal. If I can help you out with any of your real estate needs, especially when it comes to waterfront properties, reach out. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe down below, and let me know if I can help you out with anything. Bye.